Hey there, welcome to the Healthy Enterprise Podcast. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you're back for more, well, I appreciate you coming back. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm going to be talking with Gautham Pasupuleti. He is a CEO and co-founder of a company called Biodesign Innovation Labs. He is a Forbes Ultimate 120 Pioneers of Change, winner of the Cisco Global Problem Solver Challenge, and a building AI-enabled precision medicine platform for cancer care. This guy's busy. He's got a lot going on. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. So let's sit down with Gautham. Hi, Gautham. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being on this episode. Why don't you start with introducing yourself and telling the listeners a bit about Biodesign Innovation Labs and all the variety of things that you've been working on for the last 9 or so years.
Thanks, Keith. Thanks for having me. Good to connect. So what we are building is basically, life-saving medical devices and healthcare technology solutions, which can directly impact patients and really have a high solutions that is really required for patients across low and middle income countries and then developed countries which are resource poor. So we've actually been working over the last 10 years. We've been working on various solutions from respiratory care, critical care, and emergency care, ophthalmology, and including AI and machine learning applications for various healthcare applications. One of the key projects that we have been working and have been successful in translating our research and development to commercialization is Respirate and ResPap. These are the two different projects which are the medical devices that we have developed from a very idea stage to commercialization stage. So my brother and I, we started this company back in 2017 in Bangalore in India. So we had initially support from the ecosystem in India and in the US to basically identify the unmet clinical need which patients face at various healthcare settings, or the general public health problems that they have, from lung cancer to respiratory illnesses to cardiac problems to diabetes. So there are so many problems that the population at a whole faces, that there is a need for innovation, there is a need for technology, and there is a need for the design thinking in such a way the products that are built to specifically cater to those needs.
Right.
So we've developed medical devices such as Respirate, which is a safe, affordable, reliable alternative for manual ventilation. So what happens?
That's called
Respirate. That's called
right?
Respirate. What happens during emergencies, medical emergencies for patients, is that about 40 to 60% of the cases they're having some kind of a respiratory arrest or cardiac arrest, which is leading them not able to breathe, and this requires immediate intubation, ventilation, stabilization, CPR, and so on. Right? We've all seen that. So we've identified this problem in firsthand at hospitals across India, visiting more than 100 hospitals. So we've identified the bottleneck problems in looking how the patients have been, being handled in those very high stress situations in ER, in ambulances, in hospitals, in ICUs, and so on. This was way back in 2017, early 2017, and we have
so before COVID.
Yeah, way before COVID. And we've started designing, our medical device, Respirate, which automates the manual intervention that takes place to stabilize patients, to manually ventilate patients. So we've designed this it's a US patented technology, and it's also patented in India, Canada, UK, and other countries. So we have patented this technology after doing various, R&D and, a lot of clinical trials and publishing our clinical research. And this product has impacted patients during COVID and post-COVID. We started way back in 2017, and then, COVID has started in 2020. So we took So every medical device, if it is a unique idea, if you're working on something very specific technology which is solving a pretty important problem, especially in healthcare, it has its own gestation period. It has, because you have to go through multiple iterations in terms of design development, in terms of verification, validation, in terms of specification, ensuring the compliance and regulatory aspects. So what we did is like work with a whole bunch of engineers, researchers, doctors, and domain experts and various other professionals, and design developed our medical devices such as Respirate. And ResPap is another product for within Respirate project. We have built this safe respiratory device for children with pneumonia. This actually provides oxygen therapy, which is based on a bubble CPAP concept. So So you've heard of CPAP. So CPAP is used for during
Right.
sleep apnea. But CPAP is like continuous positive airway pressure. But this is for children with
Right.
5 months to 58 months. What we have developed is an affordable, easy to use, and a reliable solution for resource poor healthcare settings across hospitals, in the low and middle income countries. I mean, even in US, such that they can easily use the bubble CPAP, the respiratory solution for children with pneumonia, because pneumonia, it affects the alveoli for the children and interferes with the
Right.
delivery of oxygen. And this leads.
So is it a wearable device?
It's not a wearable device. It's like a oxygen therapy device. It kind of like provides oxygen, but you're setting flow rate.
But it's
Yeah,
it's
you're setting.
mobile.
Yeah, it's
Is it
mobile.
mobile?
You're setting the
Yeah.
flow rate. You're setting the oxygen, FiO2.
Right.
The design that we have developed is innovative, and we've also did clinical trials. We've also published our clinical trials, and we've also commercialized it. So this was the phase where we were like focused on life-saving medical devices, respiratory, ResPap,
Mm-hmm.
and then we started building AI solutions, which are basically into precision medicine, like early detection, personalized treatment, clinical decision support, drug discovery, biomarker identification, using various algorithms to detect specific cancer types at early, such that you can save a patient's lives if it is diagnosed early, so they can get the treatment early, so they can do the right early intervention such that it can save lives. So
Mm-hmm.
what we have built like an AI solution is integrating different data sets for different clinical data points, biomarkers, symptoms, physiological parameters, and proteomics, genomics, transcriptomics, all the metabolomics, all the data sets that are genetically, genetic aspects. There is something called omics data, which has different layers of like genetic data is genomics, and protein data is proteomics, and RNA data is transcriptomics. And we have all these different data sets that we work on, and we use this data to build our own algorithms, which are proprietary, and to use these algorithms to identify patterns and biomarkers, to identify specific biomarkers which others have not identified, which is novel biomarkers. And we currently are working with a lot of cancer research centers, we work with pharma companies, we work with cancer research centers, we work with hospitals. Uh, we uh, we deploy our solutions to do clinical research, to do cancer research, to provide personalized medicine, such that if a patient has a early specific indication for lung cancer, right? So
Right.
that would actually help them to take the time required to plan the treatment and then get the treatment early, such that they can stop the progression of the disease. So this is the this
Right.
is the idea of early intervention, early detection. So, and the idea of doing personalized medicine, precision medicine, is that if you are able to provide personalized treatment for a specific patient, you are considering individual patient's lifestyle, where they are from, and their genetic factors, and their clinical symptoms, and their biomarkers. And you're considering all these factors in imaging, histopathology, radiology. You're considering all these factors, and the doctor can basically look at all these data points and use our algorithms to make the right decision at the right time, which is the personalized aspect, which means that it's not like a one size fits all solution. It is individualized for each patient, such that the best clinical outcomes for the patient is guaranteed. So, to imagine a patient with prostate cancer. Right now, we have seen President Biden has prostate cancer, late stage detection. So, this is something, there are certain biomarkers that are very aggressive, very genetic mutations, very aggressive, and these are detected at late stages. About 60% of the cases are detected late stage, like lung cancer, and this leads to survival rate like below 10%. And if it is,
Wow.
if the detection is done earlier, so it can help with early treatment and reducing the progression of the cancer disease. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I got
Sure.
a couple questions. So, so both of these divisions in your company have been implemented. When did you do the respiratory devices? That was the first. Those were the first projects that you guys
Yeah. So
tackled.
we started this work way back in 2017, early
Yeah.
2017. There's a doctor in Mass General Hospital in Boston who started an initiative called CamTech. His name is Dr. Chris Olson. So he was doing a lot of innovation programs across USA, Africa, India. In one of those programs where my brother and I, we were involved. So we were doing a lot of design thinking, brainstorming, and it was like kind of a very sort of a interaction with a lot of the stakeholders, which got our curiosity to actually go deep dive into make some prototypes and then start getting some traction around that. So that was then. And then government of India and government of Karnataka, which is a state in India, started giving some funding to build a prototype, further test and validate the prototypes, and we took it off from there. And then we got various funding from like Qualcomm, Cisco, through awards and recognition, and Forbes, and in COVID, and Government of India, Department of Science and Technology, Nidhi Prayas, and BIRAC, and CCAMP and IKP, the incubation ecosystem, NASCOM. So we had really good ecosystem in India and Bangalore especially. And we kind of like, I was initially also involved with the US Boston ecosystem, the MIT ecosystem. So through
Right.
my association with MIT programs that was involved in designing medical devices, which there were a lot of collaboration between MIT and hospitals in India. Like one of them were the LB Prasad Eye Hospital, which was started by Dr. Dr. Professor Ramesh Raskar from MIT Media Lab in Kamanakulshire. So I was involved with the group, as an India initiative to identify problems, and also another group in the same to identify problems in Mumbai, healthcare, like kind of like
Right.
curiosity and innovation, design thinking, how do we apply these technology in principle to solve these problems, kind of like uh, gave us like a good direction to watch where we were going in terms of our own startup and entrepreneurship and medical devices in general. And overall
Right.
we wanted to impact, create high impact solutions. We wanted to solve problems which others are not solving, and also be able to save lives with our solutions. So we looked at like high impact problems. When we looked at problem statement identification, like what is the like emergency need, there's a dire situation, how do we come up with innovation, which is something really important at those situations, right, which can be life saving.
Right.
It is life saving. So how do we build that is very reliable? How do we make sure it is safe? How do we make sure it is accurate? How do we make sure all these things are like you need to calibrate, you need to test it, you need to validate, and you need to iterate it. So there are a lot of standards around that. So medical devices have different standards for different regulatory aspects in different categories for each. So we had to go through all these labs and test all these things, and we had a lot of collaborations over the years with big companies as well, like Remedio, who's our manufacturing partner, or hospitals where we done clinical trials like St. John's Medical College or Yenapoya Medical College, and also the ecosystem like incubation partners where we were doing our research, in the initial R&D, like AKP Knowledge Corp or CCAP or NASCOM. And overall, in the US, we were involved with Halcyon Incubator, which was like an incubator supporting our company in Washington, D.C. to help us build our products, which can help for global market needs as well as, of course, US. But Halcyon supported us in 2023 through their incubation program. I was also part of a fellowship at Johns Hopkins back in 2024, last year, from August till January. So, and Johns Hopkins and Halcyon in Washington, D.C. These were the two programs that supported our company over the last year and the previous year. And the year before, I was also involved in 2022. I was also involved with the Global Good Fund, which is the leadership development program for social impact entrepreneurs, and they kind of supported my leadership to help build a better company, which can help build a better world. Yeah. So these were like three different programs I was involved in Washington D.C. over the last 3 years.
You have been very busy.
Yeah, that's good to be busy, and
so
always try to keep myself busy to actually work on healthcare innovations, which can help. Well,
yeah, I mean, the healthcare system isn't easy to work with in the best of times, but you're maneuvering and working in a lot of different systems and structures. And so your background's in computer science and math and engineering, right? At what point did you realize that you had this sort of like driven entrepreneurial spirit?
It's a very very important question, actually. I would say, it's I would say it's not just one specific incident which just kind of like took it off. It's a kind of like a collective experiences, and where you get as a I'll tell you, when I was back in my engineering undergrad days, like while I was doing, I was studying in college, I was kind of lost what I want to do, because there were like these different engineering aspects, sensors, electronics, and communications, and there was also this biomedical instrumentation. So I was curious about it, but I had not much understanding. I want to get something hands-on. I want to first understand the problem. I want to first understand hands-on, tested. So I found that academics, in general, found them very, very much in a gap between what the real world is, because you're just learning something on a concept level. But when you actually go to the real world and you test it out, you try things, and you actually get the first-hand experience. So there's a gap between academics and industry. So that's when I found out that so that's why when you're in academia and you're doing your very early, like trying to figure it out, doing the discovery. So I was kind of lost, and of course I had a good mentor like my brother, who kind of like was involved with various medical innovations, medical device innovations, healthcare applications, technologies, and various, mostly hardware as well. But the curiosity was like, for me, my brother was doing something in healthcare. He was an innovator. I was trying to understand what I want to do, what I wanted to, see myself moving forward in my career trajectory, and also do something meaningful and impactful. So one of those days during my undergrad, I was in a hospital volunteering for a specific, project. So while I was volunteering, it was basically to do observation to understand what are the kind of, let's say it's an operation theater, or let's say an emergency room. So you try to speak with the doctors, take some notes, get some key points on what are the equipment they have, what kind of patients they see, what kind of challenges they face. and how do you compare those notes with other hospitals, and you get an idea around what's the common theme around the unmet need, or the key challenges, like the gaps, and so on. So so when we look at that, like, what I was actually in an ER, outside ER and blood bank. So I was seeing a patient just coming out of an ambulance, and they were trying to. This was a very elderly patient, and I've never seen anybody die in front of me, like never. So this was the first time. This was, I think, back in 2013. So
Hmm.
uh, there was this patient. They were trying to do CPR, and there was this ECG machine, and it was like going very, there was no sign of life there. So I was,
Right.
at the time, I realized that I should actually build something, equip the doctors, equip the paramedics, equip the healthcare ecosystem, the hospitals, such that they can help save lives. That solution can help save lives. This was
Right.
2013. And fast forward 2017, somehow I manifested into building a company which is exactly a life-saving medical device. So I look back, and
Yeah.
I looked at that incident, and I realized, oh, I really did
From
this.
that
Yeah, I
moment.
looked. So that retrospectively, I can see that somehow I actually looked at that, and then I actually imagined myself like I should be building a company around building life-saving solutions which can help save patients' lives during medical emergencies, during transportation, during ICUs, during various medical, respiratory issues. So it was not exactly like a CPR machine, but it was a device, an automated respiratory device, which
Right.
provides
Right.
manual automated ventilation as opposed to manual ventilation. So it provides respiratory rate, tidal volume, inspiratory expiratory ratio, peak inspiratory pressure, uh, peak and expiratory pressure, and all these things, which a standard emergency ventilator would do. But it is an affordable, easy to use, and at the same time innovative design for ER and paramedics and post-operative care to use it for patients
Hmm.
for short term, such that they can help save lives during the period, and then can help the patients to get further treatment in ICUs or in post-op or cardiac care and so on. So it kind of like took that. That would be one part of it to answer your question. The
Yeah.
other part, of course, my brother and I was involved with MIT, the ecosystem in MIT, and the ecosystem in Bangalore, Bangalore and Chennai, where I grew up and where I actually came to work. And so my advice actually would, people who are actually looking at this video podcast, who are trying to figure out what they're trying to get involved with communities, go to workshops, where they're doing something tech based, very specific. Let's say you're working on something for climate change, or let's say you're working on something, solutions which can help with patients with cancer or diabetes or cardiac. So go to those specific workshops, understand the concepts, and not just from a concept level, but also from a practical point of view, and also meet with people who have also been in this journey, and also who are both from an industry and academia, and from a practice perspective, from a knowledge perspective, and know the different spectrum of you can be able to be on both sides, and also from a clinical side understand what are those gaps, or what are those missing points around specific challenges they face, and what their perspectives are. And overall, it will help you get an understanding of what is there, and what is kind of challenging, and what is interesting, passionate, that you're actually involved in. So you can pick and choose what you want to do, and then go on from there. And
Well, you brought up a good point earlier about having an academic approach. Yeah, you can learn a lot through academia, but it's actually the hands-on approach where you're actually engaged with other people, seeing the problems, finding out exactly what are the problems and how they're impacting both the providers, the doctors, the staff, and how they're impacting patients as well, or the outcome for individuals. So yeah, I can see how that's a really good advice to be able to have an idea and to immerse yourself in that situation so you can actually experience it yourself and maybe have a personal impact.
yeah,
right?
it's
Which would spark
it's
that
a very
light.
important to get a first-hand experience in order for you to uh, get it from an actual understanding, and then compare it with what is already out there. And so, and also pick what are the skills that you already have or interested in, and then also what are the team
Hmm.
members that you need to get involved yourself. Let's say you want to get your friends in your team, or get your classmates or professors, or somebody who's you met at a conference who has a specific skill set, like doing data analytics, or
Right.
designing some kind of equipment that requires certain skills for like SolidWorks, or electronics, and you need some kind of will be.
Hmm.
So some are the skills that you can do it by yourself if you're passionate about it. Some skills that you need to get people who are already good at it, depending on your timelines for projects and how you're going to execute those things. And also really matters is like how passionate about a specific problem. How for us it was always because my own personal experience and my professional experience, it was always like aligned to healthcare innovation and technology from first experiencing myself to also all the way till COVID and post COVID, seeing patients. And so there were motivations to solve problems in healthcare from a professional point of view as well as from a personal point of view. uh, and and for anybody who's looking at like how do we know what is the right approach, what is the right approach, or what is the right direction do I need to go, is basically first you need to immerse yourself in the community, attend hackathons, tech conferences, attend these seminars, and also get hands-on experiences, and get yourself the right skills, and get yourself involved with the right people around you, so you can immerse and start building teams and working on solutions, important solutions which can solve very pressing problems, not just for your community but for the global good as well. Yeah.
Right. Did you and your brother partner up immediately, or did that happen afterwards? Did you guys did you think you were going to go into business with your
Yeah,
brother?
so I was no, it was not yeah, so it was not very because he was in a different he was in a different stage, I was in a different stage. I was just
Right.
I was actually at the time between jobs, trying to figure out what I was trying to do. And the next I was in a corporate before I started working in a corporate after my college. I took a small internship at MIT, which
Oh,
was uh, which was basically to identify problems in India and come up with solutions, which was an internship.
right.
And before that, I was involved with the MIT Media Lab India Initiative Group, which kind of like
Oh, wow.
put us all into a very intense programming over a few weeks, and then come up with solutions for very specific problems that we might find
Right.
through technology, through design thinking, through innovation.
That's good training.
So yeah, this kind of like helped
Yeah.
us get all the confidence that we need when you have confidence as well
Yeah.
as because you don't have confidence to actually dream that big or solve that big problems. But putting all these people with very high skilled, high achieved people from MIT and from Boston coming to all the way to MIT in Mumbai, in India, and collaborating those different, exchange of ideas, and also putting plan and not just building something for those weeks and also implementing that. So the implementation was when
Right.
I came back and started doing this research internship at MIT. And after that, I was for a brief period, I was in corporate in Chennai, which is the southern part of India, which is a software company, a SaaS company. So I found that was not my calling, and then my actual calling was actually to start something on my own, building a startup medical device technology which can save lives. And uh, you know, before I went there, I wanted to also understand how it feels like working in a startup, working in a very high intense and high demanding startup ecosystem. So I went back to Bangalore from Chennai, and I actually started working with my with some of the people I met in MIT, the workshop Mumbai,
Mm-hmm.
and for a few months, and then got myself. I know I was helping them, and they were helping me, and we were working on a specific project. And then I actually, after that, I decided to go back to Boston and then work on the specific VR and AR device project, which was uh, to help with the children with screening for eye exams for refractor that are using different technologies like uh, colorimetric. For color blindness, we have this gamification,
Oh yeah.
which we have built a gamification, which kind of like a and we've used IR sensors. We've used different cameras, IR camera, IR sensors, cameras, which can capture the eye movements and then can track. It can plot in a graph and it can track the difference between the left eye and right eye, and then it your
Oh wow.
diagnosis for neurological conditions. So there's something called pupil dilation. So the pupil dilation, when you actually do a specific when you actually if you're doing a screening for pupil dilation, uh, and this pupil dilation is something you can look at it for a diagnosis for a neurological condition by comparing the left eye and right eye. And
Is that right?
this is
Oh,
something that
interesting.
we've actually built like a gamification headset which can compare left eye and right eye. And this was for a
Hmm.
UNICEF project for children in Brazil in Rio, and which was in a collaboration with another colleague whom I met in MIT Media Lab in 2017. So this was Katia. She's still a good friend. Uh, uh, so we actually worked on this headset which can help with children with eye screening, which is a combination of different technologies like VR and AR, and and
Mm-hmm.
uh,
I was going
and
to
the
say,
headset with
was it using
yeah,
VR for
and
that? Yeah.
a headset with using AI to do a lot of screening from cornea, retina, and
Oh, interesting. Wow.
so fast forward that uh, I had this personal situation where, of course, in parallel to this, my brother was in a late stage, late stage in his own startup, which is the current Biodesign Innovation Labs, to start
Oh,
to
okay.
start working on the
Right.
prototyping for the Respirate project. So I myself was involved with them to help support my brother in the initial stages for the Respirate project. But I was having my own projects in AI and VR and AR for mostly for the eye diseases with my collaboration with Katia, my colleague and friend. But due to personal tragedy that I had, which I've explained to you, uh, my after my brother's passing, I had to, this was way early in 2017. This was a very early prototype which my brother was already working on. This is the affordable ventilator respirate, and I had to basically step up and work with the team, work with a group of doctors, and further taking the project all the way to commercialization in 2020, from 2017 to 2020. While we did the R&D, writing grants, getting funding, building the products, testing the products in hospitals, getting certifications, doing clinical trials, submitting for IRB approvals in various aspects, and in partnering with various companies and hospitals. And COVID, we've helped launch during that time, especially it was widely required. The respiratory devices, not just for adults, for children, everywhere. So we've launched our products, and what happened was I realized that one of the things that for any medical device, so I think it takes its own time, to design, develop, because you need to make sure the quality and compliance is the quality assurance. At the same time, there is something called innovation. Innovation, it has to be innovative enough that it is not something which others could compare. What novel products that you're building that others are not building, and how is it different? So in terms of value proposition, so that's where we spend a lot of time within our drawing boards, within our labs, within our uh, uh, fabrication units to validate and see the performance and reliability. So we've done that, and then we've actually tested in hospitals, impacted patients, over the course of COVID and post COVID. And then I was also interested in, not just knowledge for myself, but also, spreading the knowledge about how we can use design thinking, entrepreneurship skills, and innovation skills to help a lot of people, like, who are in, in engineering or in design medicine, who wanted to innovate, who wanted to identify problems, who wanted to solve problems, because let's say they have their own family member or affected by specific disease, specific medical condition. We all have lost
Right.
somebody. We all have some kind of a personal situation which motivates us to solve something which is meaningful, and to, be able to impact. So I think it's really important that, if there is a team that is, if you're working in a team, you have the right people with the right mindset, and, you need to have the people with diverse background. Like, let's say somebody brings in certain capabilities, and you need to have, different capabilities to add to the value for the project. Especially in the medical devices, you need people from different backgrounds, like design and, programming and design thinking. And of course, you need to have, like, if you're working on medical devices, electronics, and, if you're working, of course, you need to have the kind of skill sets from design, the software skills to the hardware skills, and specific soft skills. And also, you need to have the right kind of mindset. You need to also have the right people around you with the skill sets that is really complements. Yeah.
So, and also, I mean, this isn't the area that you're working in is not for the faint of heart either. Like you need a lot of you got to have a lot of persistence and a lot of
That's
drive for to do what this. I mean, for one project, let alone several projects like you and your brother tackled. And then, of course, you also have had. There's always setbacks, of course. You had not only professional setbacks like everyone does. You also had a very intense personal setback too with
yeah.
losing your brother. How did you move ahead? I mean, obviously you were taking the torch and carrying it for both of you, but that must have been a lot for you to take on.
Yeah, I think my brother, he taught me, like, the specific, kind of values and principles, and what he's working day in day out. And I've seen him, like, he's like my inspiration, one of main inspirations for me to be in this field. And he kind of, like, gave me different, opportunities for me to pursue, like, let's say, go and talk to these people, go and, get these skills, why don't you get familiarized with these skills, go and figure this out. So it kind of gave me, like, direction as a mentor, as a, not just not spoon feeding, but to actually inspire, to actually give certain directions, push to the limit, and be able to, master a skill, or, be an expert in a specific topic, and also have the passion and drive that you really need to put all this together. And having seen my brother over the year, that kind of helped me to follow his footsteps, kind of, look, I would also think myself, is this something my brother would do? Is this something I'm doing this right?
Right.
For the lot of times, like, after my brother's passing, over the coming weeks and even months, I had this same question back and forth. Am I doing it right? Because a lot of decision making you have to make as a leader, for the company and the future direction. And people
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of
yeah,
a
people
lonely
you
job.
bring into your team is going to be really, really, really important. So you need to really make a very crucial decisions. And for me, I've always tried to, uh, look back, is this something my brother would do? Is this something from principle stand, from a value point, from a capability point? But over the years, what I've understood is that, like, there's always something what you can do, and there's always something that what others would do. But you always need to have a set of expectations, but you need to also, you can't, you have your own originality. You need to do it by yourself. You need to, uh, no matter how much we're siblings, there are differences in which the way we operate, the way we do things. So you need to know what are your core strengths or your core, focusing on your core strengths, focusing on honing those, and then bringing in people, and then delegating some of these tasks, some of these aspects. So really adds value. So that's what I have learned over the years. Like, how do you delegate some of these things? But you really also need to focus on what are you really good at, and focus on the what are the most important things for the company as well as. Uh, so that was a learning curve that I actually understood that, because every time I had this question back and forth, am I doing it right? Is this something what my brother would do? Is this the right thing? But then, yeah, no matter you had to make a judgment. You had to make your own judgment, and you cannot do everything what others would do. You have to do the way you do, because that's what the best in the good intent, and of course the best interest for the company and for the project. If the objective wise, what is really required for patients, what is really required for healthcare
Yeah.
industry, and for
Do you find that you're asking that less now, and you're feeling more confident in your choices and your decisions now?
This was only like in the initial years, and then now I have my own view of things, because I
You know where you're going
gained the
with this
experience,
now.
and I
Yeah.
have the I have the intuition and the of
Right.
over the year. It's not something you understand even if you tell it. You have to do it by yourself to understand it.
Is that something that has that experience allowed you to develop a type of a skill or to your leadership, or certain qualities to your leadership have been because of that experience?
So yeah, I've been involved with various leadership positions, like from involving myself in various academic positions, being a mentor at Mount Sinai Empire State
Hmm.
Development, grant programs to, UCSF, giving talks and seminars in UCSF and UC Berkeley, to giving talks in various institutions and universities and hospitals across. So try to put myself in a position where I'm able to share my learning over the years, what I have, acquired and had the chance. There are ways you can think faster, and you can look at things and say, okay, this is not right, and you can say this is right, because you have the kind of intuition, and over the years, the kind of knowledge that can give you the firsthand, in hindsight, it will give you a kind of indicator. But that's why, for me, I like to get involved in various, not just as an entrepreneur, but I also as an entrepreneur, being myself, to help others in the academia, and for students, and for from hospitals to all the way to industry, to peer-to-peer knowledge, as well as first going to universities, giving guest lectures, or giving talks, seminars, or conducting workshops, doing something hands-on with them, to help them to help them identify what they want to do. But also,
Right.
it's a strategic for us. We also get to meet a lot of amazing students, and be able to hire some interns, or to help them
Right.
with some
Because
projects, or
new
do
talent's
do some
important for you. Yeah.
academia and industry collaboration. So it's
Hmm.
both ways. So it's a win-win. So I see that, not just US, globally as well, India, and other places as well.
Now, did I see that right? You were on the cover of Forbes 500 India.
Yeah. So that
That's
was
pretty cool.
yeah, I was in the Forbes cover for, I think, if I'm not wrong, 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
Cool picture too. Looks good.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that. So you've been on that cover 5 times.
Yeah. That was one of the one you mentioned is one of the covers. There were many covers. Forbes.
Yeah.
One was
Wow,
one
that's
was
pretty good. That's
yeah, around that. Yeah.
when was that?
2020 and 2021. Yeah.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, I just came across that when I was when we were having our break. I
Sure.
was just found that photo. That was great. Um, so what's on the horizon for the company? What do
Sure.
you see? What's next for you? What's coming up?
Yeah, so I'll just put it in layman's word. We are on a quest to cure cancer, build AI models and predictive analytic solutions and building our own machine learning algorithms, deep learning algorithms, building our own AI models, which can help with, from early detection for all cancer types, lung cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, liver cancer, colorectal cancer, all cancer types, to, providing personalized treatment, which means that, let's say, a patient with coming up with some kind of disease, like, let's say, blood cancer, or lung cancer, and they give chemotherapy and, radiotherapy, depending on the stage of the cancer type, the stage of
Right.
cancer, they give different combination of treatment. But what happens is, with precision medicine, with personalized treatment, you're able to reduce the adverse effects. You're able to reduce the negative effects because of the radiotherapy or chemotherapy. A lot of the adverse effects, you're giving the medicine which is supposed to, treat the, specific cancer cells, tumor cells, but it is also, going and, affecting the healthy cells, which it deteriorates the health and causes adverse effects, right? So this
Right.
happens from breast cancer, for various cancer types. But what happens with precision medicine is you're able to reduce these adverse effects. You're able to make it made targeted therapy by doing various analysis, doing data integration, combining different, omic data, patient data, clinical data, symptoms, and various data aspects, and then looking for patterns, looking for the signs, which can essentially look for, okay, there are 100,000 people who have this specific genetic mutation, and these are the clinical trials that have been done, and this is the kind of medicines that have tried and tested, and these are the effects, and these are not. So now you need to build a model which can, understand these, what have worked before, what have not worked before, and then design a
Right.
solution which is targeted, and then coming up with the treatment strategies, clinical decision support. That's what we're trying to do. That's again which we're trying to save patients' lives, which can help improve clinical lives of patients. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Wow. So that's what your focus is next. And you are also, is it correct when I say that you're bringing the manufacturing of the respiratory systems to the
Yeah,
US? Is
it's
that
already
correct?
in manufacturing. Yeah, we have already collaborated with, we have licensed our technology. It's a company we're working in India, which does the manufacturing for us. It's for respiratory.
Right.
Resp-
And so now those devices are now available in
Those
North
are
America.
available, and our AI models are right now being available as well.
Right. Right. Um, wow, that's great. Um, so listen, this has been really fascinating to hear you talk about your journey and your experience. You've done a lot. You've accomplished a lot in your short career. I'm sure you've got a lot more to go. But what some last bits of advice for people who are, maybe it's somebody who's thinking about doing a startup, or maybe just coming out of school. I know you talked about, finding a passion, getting involved in things. Is there anything, sort of personally around, getting through tough times that you tap into that help you kind of, you know, jump those hurdles and move past to your goals?
Yeah. So one of the things that I would say for people who are kind of lost or aspiring to do something, something in the space of entrepreneurship, trying to solve problems, just look for people who you look up to, like in the same field. Let's say you're in the field of, uh, you're in the financial sector, trying to solve, underserved population, and you're trying to solve something. So look for people who are ahead of you in terms of the entrepreneurship stage wise. They might have raised some funding. They might have served 100,000 people through their solutions. They might have been like known across specific sector, specific geography. So go to these conferences, go to these specific events, and that are specifically aligned with your interests, and talk to those people who are, how their journey is. Try to understand what are the ways, how their thought process, how what kind of
Ask
hardships,
questions. Yeah.
that they have faced, what kind of what kind of a thinking process, what kind of thought process, their pattern of actions, and
Right.
And also you don't have to imitate or anything like that, but you get an idea of what it takes to, build something really impactful, really something that can help patients' lives or help people overall. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great advice, because I mean that sometimes it's just you need to hear from people who are actually doing those things, participating in those environments, and hearing how they've gotten through their to and reached their goals.
Yeah, I've
So
been on
there's
the
a
other side, so I can, yeah.
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 So you've got a lot of websites. Tell, people are looking for more information about Biodesign Innovation Labs, or want to know more about the devices and the other products. What are the websites that people can go to find you?
Yeah, we have like two products, Respirate and ResPap, which is under our Biodesign Innovation Labs company.com, biodesigninnovationlabs.com. And then we have our AI enabled precision medicine, which is Build AI, which is under biodesigninnovationlabs.org, which is the other website that we have. And that's the website.
Excellent. And if people want to find you, they can find you
Yeah,
on
you can find
LinkedIn.
me on LinkedIn. Yeah, feel free to. You can just look at my name, Gautham Pasupuleti. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm more active on LinkedIn. So that's the best way to reach
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
Well, Gautham, thank you so much for joining me today. Really enjoyed meeting you, enjoyed hearing your story, and I look forward to seeing what you do next.
Thanks. Yeah. Good talk.
Okay, wow, super inspiring story. So, for any entrepreneurs out there who are experiencing resistance or challenges, man, that's an inspiring story. To hear Gautham, where he has come from, not knowing really where he was going to go, other than the fact that he really understood that he wanted to solve some problems, and which set his course into the medical world, developing devices, and now going into AI and precision medicine. But also having that personal tragedy in his life that was not only a personal setback, but a professional setback. And to be hit with both those things at the same time, he learned some valuable lessons that he took from his brother, and which helped guide his decision-making process and build that confidence that he needed to stand in his own strength, and really believes that resilience and persistence are key traits for his success in entrepreneurship. So take a minute at some point and go to bioinnovationlabs.org or bioinnovationlabs.com, and you can see what they've been working on. And I thank you so much for listening today. Be healthy, and we will see you again soon. Thanks.